Yo, what's up, y'all? We're back for the second part of this video. The divine feminine as told by the divine masculine, who is me. I'm gonna try to make this short. I don't want this to be like a long video or drag on too long. So, where I left off in the last video, I was talking about karma and how karma can be a bee, like a bitch. And not to call the divine feminine a bitch, but I'm more so just like highlighting the feminine aspect of karma. And even if you don't believe in karma, it's something that we all kind of understand or are aware of. Karma. All these cars. Yeah, so karma is, definitely a feminine thing, and it's definitely a thing that kind of has a part of order. It's a part of the natural order. It's a part of, it's a vehicle, or not vehicle, it's a system for like positivity. You know what I mean? It's like the reinforcer of love and positivity in it to a degree, or the enforcer. So the divine feminine, this is mostly what I wanted to talk about. This is kind of like the karma and everything goes along with this, but I'm wanting to talk about the different ways that the divine feminine can show up in your life in different forms. And I kind of wanted to highlight on that a little bit. So I'm speaking from a male perspective on some of this stuff, but I'll kind of mention about what things when I come across them. But the divine feminine, it shows up in a lot of different forms. You know what I mean? She can take a lot of different forms. Kind of like Mystique from like X-Men or whatever. But one of the forms that she'll take is like an adversary, right? Or like an opposing force. Like a great adversary, a scary, big adversary, right? Like one that's shrouded in darkness with big fangs and bright glowing eyes, and like the monster, the dragon, the great beast. Usually when you see like images like this and it's in darkness, or you see a character shrouded in darkness and so forth, it's usually representing the divine feminine. Just like how on Shrek there was the dragon who was like the bad guy in the first movie, and the dragon is this big bad dragon and everything. And then once they find out it's a female dragon, and they like help her out and stuff, she becomes a part of the team, and she's like a very powerful adversary. You know what I mean? She's nothing to be played with. She can kill anybody in an instant if she wanted to. You know what I mean? But she shows up in that form, and this is as a male part. She shows up in that form to challenge to bring out the divine masculine, right? Like just like the hero going to the castle, to defeat the dragon, right? Many have tried, many have failed, you know what I'm saying? But one will prevail, type thing. And that's kind of how the divine feminine like sifts out the male energy to find the divine masculine again, and to be reunited with the divine masculine, because there's a lot of men, but not a lot of us show up as the divine masculine. And so on higher dimensions, the divine masculine and the divine feminine are like in union already. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have this existence as is. You know what I'm saying? They're already in union. That is the story. You know what I mean? So in this union they have on a higher dimension, and I'm speaking from things that have been revealed to me in like spiritual like journeys I've gone on, and not even psychedelic induced, like literally just going in my heart and meditating day in, day out, and really like listen to the universe. But anyways, so let me break this down. We're only at 4 minutes, so that's pretty solid. So on a higher dimension, the divine feminine and the divine masculine are in an eternal union, right? And if you're thinking about eternal, right, that's, there's no life, there's no death, type thing. It's like, it's infinite, right? Forever, So, on that degree of existence, look at it this way. the divine masculine is like a star, right? Or like a collection of stars. And the divine feminine is that space that's between the stars, that keeps the stars there, that allows you to even perceive the stars, to witness the stars, you know what I mean? And so the divine feminine is there as a presence that holds the divine masculine, right? Exalts him in a way. And she's not going to exalt anything. She's only going to exalt the one that she sees or she knows is the divine masculine, because she knows that he has gone through everything and has came out on top, and he's still, he's still her champion. You know what I'm saying? So like on a higher degree, the divine masculine, the aspect of life that is light, that is physical, it has to die. You know what I mean? Like death is a part of life. You know what I mean? So like death is kind of going back into the yin realm, you know what I'm saying? And the divine masculine has to experience like this death. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the divine masculine's like journey, is going through death, ego death and so forth. And if you live in an eternal union, the divine masculine and the divine feminine have lived multiple lifetimes, a multitude of lifetimes, you know what I mean? And the male, comes in and dies, comes in and dies, comes in and dies, comes in and dies. There's a ton of us. I'll look at it like how in nature, how you have, men you normally court the females, you know what I'm saying? Like, or the women in nature. And I know nature has a way of like showcasing a bunch of different ways of animals doing stuff, but usually the status quo is that the man will court a woman. They'll fight for the woman to mate. They'll fight a male, or they'll perform an intricate dance, or they'll have to kind of like win over swoon, or win over the woman. And there's a lot of consequences if they lose. A lot of times they'll lose their life to another male, or they'll lose their life to the actual female. Like a black widow or a praying mantis, who eats the male's mates. Sometimes, before or after they mate. Sometimes if she doesn't find him worthy, then she'll eat him right there. Like she'll look at him and then just eat him. She won't even let him mate. And that's a part of the divine feminine. That's a part of her nature too, is that she's the one that kind of allows the male to procure his legacy, or to secure his legacy, or to allow him to further have seeds, through her, you know what I'm saying? And if she doesn't deem you worthy, if she doesn't see the divine masculine in you, then she may like kill you, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of us males out here, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, okay, you're not him. Let me find where he is. She'll kill him, eat him, and allow, so she can have energy and then keep moving. Obviously, it's not as cruel, you know what I'm saying, in the human world, but at the same time, there is an aspect that happens on, and there is that opposing force, or that adversary, just like the dragon in Shrek, you know what I'm saying? She shows up in this way to frighten you, or to see if you're still afraid, because on that higher dimension, like, and it makes me tear up sometimes, because like just the feeling that I got from that union and understanding what that union was more about. On that higher dimension, like, you lived and died so many times, so the divine feminine coming through your existence in that shape or that form is to like remind you that like you've done this many times, and that you're triumphant. And a triumphant is a huge word. If I could put a word on over anything as far as the divine masculine and feminine's union, I would call it triumph. I'll call it triumph, because over anything and everything that we can ever go through in life, at the end we come up on top, and we're in union with her, and she's in union with us. So, and I'm speaking from the divine masculine perspective, but I'm speaking from this perspective to kind of show light as to how the divine feminine works. And she might show up like this in other females' life. I'm not a female, so I can't, in this lifetime, I can't say like, oh, okay, like, yeah, she shows up like this. For me, she might show up as more of like a guide or something, you know what I mean? And you might have to more so deal with the divine masculine. I don't know. But she shows up like this because she knows on a higher dimension who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you are him, obviously we're all like expansions, or like spin-offs, or what do you call it? Like offshoots or whatever of the divine masculine. you know, we're all both, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the divine masculine, he's there to show up and to be the champion, you know what I'm saying? He's the one to do the work. He's the one to court her, to court her, you know, to win her heart over. You know what I'm saying? The one that can go into the darkness and bring light to it, you know what I'm saying? Can take the dragon that's killing people and, you know, love her, show her that like she's worthy of love and she's worthy, and he sees her and he knows how powerful she is and he's not afraid, you know, of her. And when she recognizes that, then she's like, oh, you do remember who you are. You do remember who we are. You know what I'm saying? You may not remember all of who I am, but you at least know that, like, who you are to a degree, you know? And as a male, like, we're here to like triumph, you know what I'm saying? We're here to like fight for her honor, you know what I'm saying? We're here to protect her, you know what I'm saying? We're here to provide security and safety in a lot of ways. So we have to show up. She's going to test us in those ways to like frighten us or to scare us or to make us feel like, oh, like a little boy again, like, oh, like I'm scared, you know? But that's only to bring out that divine masculine. That's only to find out for herself if you are him, if you remember who you are, you know what I mean? So the divine feminine shows up in that way, and she shows up in a lot of different forms, you know what I mean? Like she'll show up in helpful forms, you know what I'm saying? When you hear like, when you get like notions or you hear like little subtle things and stuff like that, like the divine feminine could be like guiding you to either like stop what you're doing or change up what you're doing or pay attention to something, or to like, you know, like look at yourself, or like just take a moment to like be present and kind of catch on to something that you may not be aware of, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, she shows up in a lot of different forms, but it's really to wake you up and to remind you of like who you truly are, and to show you that we all are connected. And, you know, like we die, but there's an existence that's eternal. There's a bond that's eternal beyond just this physical shell. Like this body is like the physical form of the ego, you know what I'm saying? Like the body regenerates itself. It's here. It allows us to have an identity. It allows us to see ourselves. It allows us to interact with the world and for the world to see us too. But it's also has to go. It's like the baby fat of like your spiritual journey, you know. Here, now this is like a different subject. This could be a segue into the next video, but I'm gonna kind of keep this short. So I'm gonna kind of give you a little nugget. If y'all want to hear more about this, just let me know. Drop a comment or something. But I'm kind of more so going into just like the ego and the universe and the spirituality of our existence and like what we're going through. We have the chakras and all that stuff. We can really get into it for real. But the body and life and death is like, it's like something that we experience, like death every time we go to sleep, and we experience existence outside of this realm every time we dream, you know what I'm saying? And it's something to allow us to know, oh, okay, we don't die. Oh, okay. Like there is existence beyond here. You know what I'm saying? We at least have the understanding that we can be aware and move around and have an avatar in a world that doesn't exist here. You know what I'm saying? The dream world is a world we all have access to. You know what I'm saying? We all have experience for the most part. And it's something, you know, a lot of people just like chalk it up as just like, oh, okay, just mental like backup and just like fluff. But no, there's an actual existence there. There's actual landscape. There's pixels that dream is like placed upon. There's an actual, you know what I'm saying? There's an actual like situation to a degree. But anyways, yeah, your body's like a physical form of your ego, and you're just here really to learn how things interact with one another, to learn the relatability of everything, to learn, oh, okay, when I do this to somebody and this is a negative experience, oh, this is a positive experience. Okay, this is how karma treats this. Oh, okay, this is, if I do this to this person, I call this person an asshole unjustly, and then they like 30 minutes later say the same thing to somebody else, projecting onto them, and then it goes on and on and on until like some kid is being, insulted, at home or something by like their parent or something, just because their parent got some negative energy. That was a chain reaction of something that I did. But like here on the third dimension, we kind of like understand this stuff. And then when we get to a higher dimension, we can see, oh, this is how this chain reaction or butterfly effect affects things, you know what I mean? But we're here to understand what concepts are. We're here to understand what symbols are. We're here to understand the meaning of shit, you know what I'm saying? We're just here to understand, like, oh, this is how things relate, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can at least have a point of reference of what life is. So this is like your early form stage of understanding things. But, you know, you have the mental plane, you have emotional, you know, you got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that actually goes on in between and around all of just like the physical stuff. But anyways, I don't want this to go too long. Hope y'all having a beautiful day. I wanted to just kind of explain a little bit more of the feminine nature and like the dark side of it. And that is also what people kind of come in with the word like Eve and evil, and they make that correlation between the two. And it's not necessarily, you know, oh, okay, like Eve fed Adam the apple and, you know, that's where they fell from grace. It's all because of her, and she's this dark, you know, evil thing or whatever, or women are inherently evil. And that's not the case. That's not the case. It's really that there's the seen and there's the unseen, and everybody's afraid of the unknown. You know what I'm saying? The male aspect is the known. It's the measurable. It's the stuff that you see. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, it's the words. But each word by itself can't do shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't change the world with just one word. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell a story with one word. Like, you might be able to, but it's not going to be a great story. You know what I'm saying? One word, really? You can't even tell a story with one word. Like, you can really just point towards something. Like, you'd be like, oh, rock. Or, oh, like lake. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a story. So, like, when you have the space in between the words and you can actually string words together, you can actually make meaning of things. That's why the divine feminine is there. Men are like, you know, the divine masculine is like points of reference. We're like the stars, you know what I'm saying? But she's like the space holding it all together. You know what I'm saying? Both are very important. Both mean a lot to existence, but they both have their parts, and they both exist simultaneously and perfectly in union. So that's all I wanted to do. I want to explain a little bit more in depth on the divine feminine, and then also kind of cover some of the darker aspects of her. And it's nothing to be scared of at all. You know what I'm saying? That's just her nature. She's like, that's her realm. Just like, you know, the divine masculine or the yang is in the light, you know. The darkness is actually kind of cool. So I'll leave y'all with this. It's something that you can do. This is something I've done recently. But it's like yin work. So what I'll do is I'll go into like a closet with no lights on or nothing, and just not lock myself, but like close the door and put myself in a closet in pitch black, to the point where when I open my eyes and I close my eyes, it's the exact same thing. And what this does is it helps you to understand your shadow self. It's like one of my friends like said, oh, like that's the Masonic Hall of Reflections or something. Room of Reflections. I was like, what? Never heard of that. But it makes sense. So what you do is, like, anytime you start feeling a certain way, like you start like bitching about your life, or you start just being like, oh man, like I'm not where I want to be, or I'm not this, or this is off, or I don't have enough money, or this or that, and you start to kind of get into this space, like, go put yourself in a dark closet, like, for real. Go put yourself in a dark closet and let yourself just feel and be there. And if you can be in a dark closet by yourself in the middle of the dark without any negative thoughts, then you're in the right place. But a lot of times when we get in the dark, you'll kind of expose your own insecurities. If you go into a dark closet, when I first would do that, I was like, oh man, what am I doing? Like, this is so weird. Like, oh, like, what if somebody like hand just came out of nowhere and like grabbed me? Or like, what if somebody like stabbed me or something? Like, whatever random thoughts want to come to my head. And I'm like, oh man, it's so weird. Like, I can feel like, you know, my mind can like imagine something happening, and I can sense my body, you know, reacting in certain ways to that. And when you're in that kind of state of mind, that's the same state of mind where you're like, oh man, like, what's going on? Like, nothing's working out, and because like your mind is literally bringing up things to, I wouldn't say like torment you, but yeah, you're kind of like tormenting yourself, because all you really have to do is trust God. You know what I'm saying? Trust the process. So if you can get into that closet, and it may not be the first time, it may not be the second time, maybe the third time or something, you'll get in the closet and you'll be able to feel your light. You'll be able to sense your light, you know, like eyes closed, eyes open. You'll be able to sense your light. You'll be able to hear the sounds in every other little room or whatever's around you, like in an apartment complex or whatever. And you'll feel your light in that closet. And it'll feel more like, oh, I'm in a closet in this dark space, but like your light almost has no boundaries to it. Because when you're in that dark space, it's almost like an infinite void to a degree. And your light, like a star, can boom, like shoot out in every direction. Every direction that you possibly can. Your light could just go as far as it can. But you have to kind of tap into that space. If you need to go into a dark closet, I definitely suggest, it's a simple, very simple thing. Go into a dark closet and allow yourself to just be with your mind and your thoughts and your feelings, and allow them to get to a space where the dark closet is like a happy place. I'm not saying, oh, like I'll put myself in a dark closet every night to get to my happy place, but it's getting to a point where you can be in a happy like space where you're in that closet and you forget what time, how long you've been in there, because you're so able to feel the subtle energies and actually experience like within that yin kind of realm. But anyways, that's all I want to say. I don't want this to drag on too much longer. I love y'all. I hope everyone's doing well wherever you are, however you are, whoever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this video. Take care.